Shalom, shalom, and peace. Welcome to the 12 tribes scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. You've reached Don't Shoot the Messenger. In other words, DSTM, episode number 174. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Why Yahweh Shai? That's all praises in the name of Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, the Savior of the world of Israel. I give all praise, honor, and glory, man. Welcome to another episode. It's hump day. We made it. We're halfway through. We got to stay focused, stay faithful, stay diligent, stay enduring, because the time is at hand, brothers and sisters. Um, Make sure that you've wiped your feet when you came on in, man. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. Wipe your feet, man. Hit the like button, man. It shouldn't break your finger. It ain't gonna break your pockets. It won't hurt you. I promise. Just to click that button, man. That's all. That's all. We over here cooking up. I got a few articles I want to run by brothers and sisters, man, just to kind of share. I don't want to get too redundant with the information. Some of the things is always on the table. We know that the economy is there. We know war is there. We know famine is there. We know weather tribulation is there. But we still have to cover it and show and prove what's going on. So, with that being said, I'm just gonna go through some of these articles. Not gonna take too much time. I know I say that all the time, but I'm really just gonna kind of give you the headlines, read a little bit into them, and then the spirit hits. We'll run through a couple scriptures and we'll see where it goes. All right. So hit that like button, man, and let's get to it. Let me start sharing. All right. Come on now. All right. So we're gonna open up here. We're gonna open up here. We're hearing about wars, rumors of wars. We've talked about the conflicts between South Korea and North Korea. We've seen the conflicts between Russia, NATO, America, Ukraine. I mean, under the guise of it's America again. I mean, Slovakia. It's Russia against Ukraine, but we know that it's a little bit more global than that. You feel me? We know that there's issues of and matters of war between North Korea and Japan, China and Taiwan. Um, Now we're hearing and seeing, we've seen what's going on with Palestine and Israel. They're still going at it. Turkey has had a terrorist attack on them maybe about a month ago. Iran is always, cooking up the pot, trying to get their nuclear armament together and the nuclear power together in a threat to Israel and to America. Now we're seeing the King of Jordan. The King of Jordan wants in. Look what he's saying. Jordan King, if Israel wants a conflict, we're quite prepared. So clearly there's conflict and war that's going on in the region of the so-called Middle East in the Levant area where they are talking about war between Jordan and Israel. And he said that Palestine is going to kind of be a casualty of war if it ever gets lit like that. So look at this. Jordan's King Abdullah II has told CNN that his country is, quote, quite prepared for a conflict with the new Israeli government if it wants a conflict with Amman. If people, the Israeli government, want to get into a conflict with us, we're quite prepared. King Abdullah told CNN's Becky Anderson in an exclusive interview conducted earlier this month. I always like to believe that. Let's look at the glass half full, but we have certain red lines. And if people want to push those red lines, then we'll deal with that. The monarch was referencing potential Israeli changes to the status of Muslim and Christian holy sites in the occupied city of Jerusalem. Jordan is the custodian of the holy sites in occupied East Jerusalem. So what they're acknowledging is that the Israeli government is trying to impose their will on the status of Muslim and Christian holy sites, and they want to go in there and start trying to, occupy the sites, move the sites. Who knows what they're going to try to do with these particular religious sites that's under Jordanian law, rule, and occupation. So they're basically saying, look, this is our land over here. These sites are protected by us. What are you trying to do coming over here, trying to institute changes to what's happening in our land? You must want problems. That's what basically the King of Jordan is trying to acknowledge. So let's read down here. It says, he continued, I think there's a lot of concern from all of us in the region, including those in Israel that are on our side on this issue, to make sure that that doesn't happen. So the bottom line is what he said is there's a lot of concern for everybody, right? In regards to this. So uproars of the people, wars, rumors of wars, it's still very prophetic as we're seeing and moving into the so-called quote unquote new year. Imagine that. Let's look at this too. We're seeing and understanding about this whole phenomenon of all these heart attacks and heart issues and heart failures and strokes. I mean, I don't remember reading about this many on a daily, damn near weekly basis ever. And it always seems that there's somebody of note, of fame, that it could be attached to. Now, just on the subject of death, we had Barbara Walters, Pope Benedict. You had one of the Pointer Sisters. She just passed away. The drummer from Earth, Wind, and Fire just passed away. Look at this guy. Former Jacksonville Jaguars guard Uche Nwaneri dies age 38 from acute heart failure after collapsing at his wife's home as the NFL side paid tribute to his strong bond with fans. Um, Mississippi State head coach died of heart failure at home. What's going on? I don't want to speak on anything. You know where my mind is at. If y'all been watching DSTM, you know what time you know where my mind is at. But I can't even go there because you know what they're gonna do. Anybody that watched the NFL game on Monday night, you see the young brother, man, collapse on the field after making the tackle. Collapse on the field, went into cardiac arrest. They had to administer CPR to bring him back to life. Transported him off into a hospital in an emergency situation. He's in critical condition. They had him on a breathalyzer, breathing machine. I think they said updated as of today that they reduced his need for the the breathing machine to 50%. So, all praise to the Most High for him and his family that he's at least trending in the right direction in regards to recovery, but he's not out the woods yet. But again, another heart issue, right? And there's so many that we could speak on, man. Y'all done seen the videos of the compilation videos, all the athletes that's falling on the ground, clutching their chests, from the soccer players to the basketball players, um, clutching their chest, falling on the ground. You know what time it is, right? Not only that, look at this. Revealed. ABC News producer Dax Tahara and his wife, Washington Post producer wife, were out together in Manhattan and left their 5-month and 2-year-old daughters in a Yale Club hotel for an extended length of time when he had a heart attack and died. He had a what and died? Oh, okay. Now, clearly, the article is trying to steer away from the narrative of the cause of death to show how bad a parent they were, which I don't have no problem with. I agree with that. They went out for a night on the town and was talking about they use cell phone, using cell phone monitors to watch the kids or something. Madness. Look at it. Veronica Tahara, 33, was arrested by NYPD officers on 2 counts of acting in a manner injurious to a child. She was held just hours after her husband, ABC News producer Dax Tahara, 37, died suddenly from a heart attack on December 23rd. Police received a 911 call at 11 p.m. over unattended children at the 50 Vanderbilt Avenue in Manhattan, home of the members only Yale Club Hotel. The couple had left their children alone and gone out when Dax collapsed. Veronica, a senior producer at the Washington Post, claims they were watching their children on video cameras, but admitted it was a poor decision to leave them. So no mercy by the the so-called white man. Police come. Her husband just collapsed, had a heart attack, dies. They slap the cuffs on her and say, "Yeah, but your kids, you left them alone. We're arresting you." So now she's without husband, without kids. I'm sure she's probably bailed out by now because this again happened on the 23rd. But I mean, they're just steering away from the situation regarding this, right? Look at this. Another ABC News producer, ABC News 10 producer Erica Gonzalez, she dies, and they said she also died suddenly. Although the cause of death has not been revealed yet. Um, the ABC 10 News team has lost an important member of our family. Erica Gonzalez, one of our talented morning show producers, passed away overnight. Gonzalez was a creative and passionate person who not only served our viewers, but her country as well. The three biggest loves in her life are family, the flag, and Friars. Uh, anyway, regarding that. But we see what ends up happening to her. Now, when did this happen? December 21st. So the 21st, Erica Gonzalez dies. The 23rd, Dax Tahara dies. Uh, I think that what was it, the 29th, Barbara Walters dies, or the 29th or the 30th, she dies. I mean, ABC News is cursed. You got three of they notables, die. You got Whoopi Goldberg causing them problems. You got the Jake and the Edomite, his whole fiasco. They fired both of them for having a affair. Jake left his wife to go chase his white, snow bunny. Imagine that. But we're not done yet. We're not done yet. How about this? Dave and Buster's. James Buster Coley is discovered dead on his 72nd birthday with a self inflicted gunshot wound at his Dallas home 4 months after suffering a severe damage from stroke. Imagine that. So the co-founder of Dave and Buster's can't live because he's damn near non-functional and can't live like that anymore. Slumps into depression after he has a severe stroke, kills himself. James Buster Coley, 72 of Dallas, was found dead on his birthday on Monday. Dallas Police Department found the businessman with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wounds. He was transported to the hospital where he later died. His daughter, Kate, 34, said that her father suffered a stroke 4 months ago. The stroke caused severe damage to the communication and personality part of his brain. Coley founded Dave and Buster's with David Corriveau, who died in 2015 at 63. So, 4 months after stroke, this guy right here, he struggled, got the strap, and let it blow. So why are we seeing and hearing about all of these strokes, heart attacks, seizures, and everything else? That's just a question. A very possible answer. Well, let's leave it at that. I'm not gonna go no further. I'm not gonna go no further. All right. Look at this. The cultural appropriation of the so-called white man is just becoming even more disgusting. On the heels of, if you haven't seen it already, put out a two-part series regarding whether or not the Hispanics and Native Americans are true indeed Israelites, right? And there always has to be a distinction made when I say not every and not all, because there's a lot of them running around here fronting and faking and adopting and lying themselves into tribes, paying their way into tribes, intermarrying through a maternal line uh, for the rights to claim a particular tribe. But look at this now. White woman decides she's going to monopolize, she's going to come in and use her white privilege to try to change the landscape of the indigenous culture. And now she's a Co-founder of Queer Indigenous Artists Collective in Wisconsin, is unmasked as a white woman after claiming she was Native American and two-spirit. Two-spirit. You know what that means. So she comes in and wants to infiltrate and throw in this idea of indigenous queer artists. So the agenda is clear that she's trying to introduce the LGBTQ plus community to the indigenous populations, right? All under false pretenses. This is the cultural appropriation, man. This is the culture vulture nature of the so-called white man. This is why we call them the devil. Kay LeClaire, who went by Nibiwaka Majikawa, has claimed to be Native American. Hobbyist genealogist Advanced Smite posted research on an online forum alleging that LeClaire has been profiting from indigenous peoples. They have since released a statement saying that they are is not using the OG. I don't know what they're trying to say. They have since. Come on, get some better editing going on here, Daily Mail. They have since, it's supposed to say, released a statement saying that they are is not you. What the hell? That they are is not using the Ojibwe name given to them and are removing themselves from all positions and projects. I don't even know how they trying to make this sound, man. They go mess up the whole headline. But let it be about the damn queen, or let it be about Prince what's the cat's name? Megan and whatever the prince name is. Let it be about some relevant, them four white students in Idaho that got killed. Let them mess up the text on that, man. All hell's gonna break loose. You don't mess up nothing in regards to their lives, their culture, nothing else. When it comes down to the Engine Joe or whoever, it don't matter. It can make it look like you making you sound illiterate trying to read the damn thing. It's ridiculous. Advanced might claim they used online records and resources to find Leclerc's true lineage: German, Swedish, and French Canadian. The co-founder of a queer indigenous artist collective in Wisconsin, who has claimed to be Native American, is being accused of being a white woman and has since stepped down from her community positions. Remember that other white woman? Damn, what's her name? I forgot her name, man. But she was running around with the NAACP. She got braids and did all kind of Rachel Doliak or Doziak, Dochil, something like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. She ran around parading herself as a so-called black woman for so damn long that she got busted. She got busted. She had to step down from all her positions. Now she broke on her. She doing OnlyFans now. I mean, they constantly running with the narrative. Oh no, I'm black. Oh, look at this. Kay LeClaire, who also went by the name Nibi, I'm not even gonna try to go there. Also identifies as two-spirit, which is a term many indigenous people use to describe a non-binary gender identity. Okay, give me a break. Here she goes. Right? German, Swedish, and French Canadian. Because she goes and throws on, traditional garments. They said she was hitting the tanning booths, trying to, change up her appearance. And here she is down here. This the real her compared to this. Here she is in a wedding, but she's two-spirit, huh? Yeah, here she go. That's a big difference from here to here. Uh, they had something on here. They said that her friends was tripping on her because they was noticing how she was hitting the tanning booths and trying to get darker. Uh, I thought I had it on here, but y'all see, man, the damn fraudulent stuff that they up to. Okay. Um, Now let's look at this too. On while she's running around portraying a fraud, You had legitimate Israelite women, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, who went through hell, forced sterilizations because of who they were. And she's running around pretending to be something that she's not, riding on the coattails of the hell and the torment that our people went through. So look at this. California trying to find trying to find compensate sterilization. Does this make sense? California trying to find compensate sterilization. California trying to find how to compensate sterilization victims. Do you see how the bias and stuff, how they treat our articles, man, and how they try to make it seem like our information is not important, so they can go ahead and put typos and misspellings and run on sentences and all kind of foolishness. I mean, I'm not no English major, but damn, I can definitely read when something does not make sense. Sacramento, California, about 600 people are alive today can't have children because California's government sterilized them either against their will or without their knowledge. So imagine that. Against their will or without their knowledge. And now we're sitting back saying, well, was there or is there a conspiracy regarding what they did to our people? What did they say? Salakia, what happened here? Psalms 83. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And that skipped up. Okay, look at this. We know this. They've taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. This is Psalms 83, verse 3. Crafty counsel, with the idea and the understanding of saying to cut off the name of Israel and cut us off from being a nation. One way they did so was forced sterilization on our women, cutting off their ability to bear seed, cutting off the bloodline of our people, trying to make sure that they can limit the birth rates of our people. But they can't do that. They can't do it. Let me see that in. I think I want. No, not Psalm 10. It's lucky. Isaiah. Isaiah 10. See, Isaiah 10:22, it says, for though thy people Israel be as a sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decrees shall overflow with righteousness. So the Most High is acknowledging that even though, and the so-called white man knows this, that our people is like the sands of the sea, man, an innumerable multitude. You cannot count. They trying to always census, put out a census and count us and track us down. How many of them is it? Are they still around? How many? The Lord said that you can't count and you can't find out how many there are. Let's cut off their seed, force sterilize the women, make sure that they can't have babies no more. At least we can get 600 of them. That 600 probably could have amounted to another 6,000 kids. Who knows? By generations. They said cut that off, right? But the Lord said that the remnant is going to be consumed within that magnitude, and it's going to overflow with righteousness. So you can't stop us, man. But they tried. Look at this. So about 600 people alive today can't have children because California's government sterilized them either against their will or without their knowledge, and now the state is trying to find them so it can pay them at least $15,000 in reparations. Isn't that nice? $15,000 to say that you can never have a child in your life. You'll never learn what motherhood is about. You'll never be able to understand what it is to be a father. You'll never be able to experience and have friends and grow up in the community of your people. $15,000, man, and they're gonna tax that. So it ain't even really $15,000, and they're trying to see if they can do this. We're talking about taking away a person's ability, God-given ability to procreate life, and they took it away, either forcibly or without their knowledge. And you know what's so ironic, man? Sometimes I check the comments. Most of the time, I don't. I just happen to see some of the comments. I made a short in regards to what January 1st and New Year's Eve meant for the slaves. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's under our shorts, right? And it was called Moving Day for the slaves. New Year's Eve, slaves were sitting up, waiting in anticipation, wondering whether or not their families were going to be separated. They were going to be sent off and rented out to different lands and have different ownership for a certain amount of time, and families being broken up, legacies being destroyed, continuing on in their servitude. That was what New Year's was for us, right? And of course, you get these entitled, goofy white people on there leaving comments. Oh, that was 200 years ago. Let it go. Oh, did the black slave owners feel the same way? Yeah, but you acting like per capita there was more black slave owners than there was whites, man, and acting as if that actually impacted you culturally and your ability to, still dominate and rule this country and other countries through your colonization. What are you talking about, man? And the real answer is go do the research and you find out. It was not many black slave owners of white. Get out of here. Then you go, oh, that was 1860. Those people are dead now. We don't need to be talking about that. But they would never dare to say that to the Revelation 2 and 9 small hat community. That Holocaust is never going to be forgotten. Because the next thing is, okay, well, is there a statute of limitations on history? Is there a statute of limitations on your memory? How far back or what you can and can't remember anymore at this particular point in time? You're supposed to forget about it. Oh, that's already reached its expiration date of remembrance. 80 years, you got to cut that off. That no longer is a part of history. You dumb idiots, man. Now you see you got me turned up. You dumb idiots, man. What's the whole point of having history classes in school? Everybody had them. This mandatory education. If history didn't matter. The problem is that it's always whitewashing. It's always geared towards their side of the story. So anytime we bring out history and showing the typical the typical things that was happening to our people and recollecting the history, oh, forget about that. You even had some old couple of coons on there. Yeah, we recognize and see that, but we don't want to dwell on the negativity. Why would we dwell on the negativity? We need to be working on the positive. Well, have you seen anything that's going on in the world right now? Anything positive? Even had some old fake Christian on there talking about, oh, this is terrible that you're using this to perpetuate hate, and I hope that when that when you experience, I hope that you experience pain, and when God punishes you, that you take time to reflect and repent about spreading hate. And I said and I left a comment for that one. I said, oh, all of a sudden, because I want to share history, I'm perpetuating hate as if I started it. I mean, this is the kind of foolishness that they're out there doing, but this is the type of white entitlement and the type of revisionist history that they don't want to they don't want to be reminded of. Why are you bringing this up? We're not. This is all negative. We supposed to be working together. This does nothing but reinsert that, because you don't want our people to remember the pain and the suffering that our forefathers went through. We're only talking about 2 or 3 generations down the line that our people was experiencing these things. What are you talking about? Because of the fact that we bring it up all of a sudden, now we don't want to remember. So we shouldn't remember about these women that were being forced sterilized, that wasn't able to have kids. We should forget about that, huh? Well, clearly the state of California is saying we can't forget. Maybe we should throw them a little change. And that ain't even enough to change and reconstruct and destroy the biological functioning of a woman forcibly, or without her even knowing, without her knowledge. And then she goes and gets with a man and she's trying to figure out how come she can't have babies and all of that. And next thing you know, a doctor's telling her, did you know that this happened to you? I mean, how do you answer for that? Oh, don't worry about it, forget about it. And if any of you that commented on that post, you got something to say, leave a comment and let me know, because the next thing is, well, are you ready to start petitioning to shut down the Jewish Holocaust museums, the Simon Wiesenthal museums and all of that, because we need to forget about everything. If you're not ready to do that, don't leave no comments. Don't leave no comments if you're not ready to protest all manners of history, especially, people talking about there's a victim mentality. Leave that alone. Okay, then let me know when you're ready to talk about protesting and shutting down the Holocaust museums. Let me know when you're ready to talk about the Japanese internment camps, why they shouldn't be talking about that anymore. After America did that, let me know when you want to do that. Let me know when the Native American museums need to be shut down, and all of the plight and all the history that they endured. Let me know when you're ready to do that, since we don't need to remember about any of that anymore. See, they don't want history to empower us. And besides that point, the Bible tells us that we're supposed to remember the history. The Bible tells us that we're supposed to search out the old paths. This is how you know that people don't even understand the word. And by the way, that post said, so-called blacks, I'm addressing you. It show you the arrogance in the so-called white man always sticking his nose in something that don't have nothing to do with you. I'm talking to my people. Wasn't talking to you. Didn't ask for your comments. But here they come in. Hey, leave it alone. That's all. You just want to victimize. You're talking. Hey, they don't want to look in the mirror. What the Bible say? Jeremiah 6:16. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. The post is educational for my people who didn't understand and know what was happening historically during the so-called quote unquote New Year's celebrations. What was going on with us? Does that make us think and reconsider? Is this a moment of celebration? Is this something that we culturally had in our records, or was this something that was imposed on us, or was this something that we just decided that we was going to follow with no education, no understanding after that? No, we don't do that. You don't just follow along with things just to be following. Job 8:8, for I inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers. So we're supposed to look at the history of our forefathers. What are you talking about? That was in the past. Leave it alone. That was 200 years ago. Oh, that all them people died. Why are we dwelling on this? See, no care for life, no care for black life. It's as though they dead already. Leave it alone. Well, tell that to the same people who've been profiteering off of the Holocaust. Tell them leave it alone. Tell them people that all them people that died, it doesn't matter anymore. You wouldn't open your lips to say a word against it. No, but because of some black folks talking about it, because it's indigenous tribes talking about it, because it's Hispanics talking about remembering their history and seeing the colonization and the devastation that happened to their people. Oh, we don't want you remembering that. Go back to sleep. No, we're awake now. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. So you damn right we're gonna talk about this. Offering women $15,000 after forcibly sterilizing them. And you saying, oh, you're talking about hate. Yeah, your people hating our people. But after a year of searching, the state has, getting back to the article, after a year of searching, the state has approved of 51 people for payments out of 310 applications. So even the number 310, they said there was 600 that happened. Probably the other half don't even know that they're entitled to this, or they could file for it. Why? Because they're hearing about only 51 people out of 310 actually been approved. There's 1 year left to look before the $4.5 million program shuts down and the challenges remain steep. So they put a limitation on it. You got $4.5 million in that program, and you're only allocating 51 people out of 310 people for application, and telling them, making it hard as hell to jump through hoops to try to get a small little stipend for a whole life-changing event. State officials have denied 103 people, closed 3 incomplete applications, and are processing 153 others. But they say it's difficult to verify the applications as many records have been lost or destroyed. No kidding. No kidding. That's standard practice. That's standard practice for the so-called white man. How do we know this? Let's look at this. Second, no, Slack. I want first Maccabees. Standard practice. Earn everything. Leave no witnesses, leave no memory. First Maccabees. Uh let's read chapter 1. And I want to read I'm gonna just start from I want to get down, I want to get closer to the point. Let's see right here. Okay. Now, this is obviously after the conquering of the Greeks, the desecration of the temple. So, again, Greeks coming in, desecrating the temple of the Israelites, forbade us from keeping the laws and the commandments and the holy days, forbade us from keeping the laws of the Most High. And anyone who did not submit to the will and the ordinances of the Greeks was put to death. Now, what did it say in verse 52? Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land, and drove the Israelites into secret places when Salaki, even wheresoever they could flee for succor. Now the 15th day of the month Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and built idol altars throughout the cities of Judea on every side. So what did they do under Antiochus? Um, Epiphanes, they ramshacked the temple, they raided it, they took out all the holy vessels, they started implementing all type of abominations, swine's flesh being offered, they turned it into a temple of sacrifice for Zeus. Okay. Now, verse 55, it says, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire. So what they do? They destroyed records. They destroyed records. They destroyed our books. They destroyed our manuscripts. They destroyed our history. Right? So what do they do here? But they say it's difficult to verify the applications as many records have also been lost or destroyed. How convenient that you forcibly sterilize over 600 women. And I think that's a lowball number because I've seen greater numbers in the thousands. Right? I've seen greater numbers in the thousands. We're talking about women that's been incarcerated and so forth and so on from forced sterilizations. It's a whole thing. Eugenics, Margaret Sanger, the whole nine. That number is low. It says, but they say it's difficult to find out and verify because, oops, records got destroyed because we did some criminal activity. Imagine that. All right, I got to get off of this. I got to get off of this because I'm gonna blow a stack. All right, but let me just finish this. Two groups of people are eligible for the money: those sterilized by the government during the so-called eugenics movement that peaked during the 30s, and a smaller group who were victimized while in state prisons about a decade ago. So there you have it. Now, another reason why, if we decided to say, oh, that was 100 years ago, forget about it. Maybe that would be your intentions as a so-called white person who doesn't understand the value of history, because guess what? This family would have never been able to retrieve their land back that they were bullied into selling and taken from them in California if they decided to say, "Oh, forget about history. That was 100 years ago. Who cares? Those people are dead already." Do you see how stupid you sound when you leave comments like that? This is what reparations look like. This is what you don't want. You don't want any type of reparations. You don't want us to recognize and see where wrongs was done and us having to get back retribution for what happened. LA County pays $20 million to buy back prime beachfront property 1 year after giving it to its heirs of the black couple who had seized it in 1924. Seized it. So again, is there a statute of limitations on recollection or memory or history? Is there some point in time that we're supposed to just cut it off and just say, you know what, we're not even thinking about that? Is that how it's supposed to go down? Let me know. So I've never heard of that. Never heard of it. These people had their land seized from them almost 100 years ago, and they had to fight. The family had to fight, got the records and everything else in order to retrieve the land and say that they were the rightful owners, that this land was taken from them. And what? They finally won the suit in order to get back the land. Prime real estate in Manhattan Beach. If you don't know about it in California, that's where the rich folks is at. The land originally purchased around 1912 by Charles and Willa Bruce was recently returned to the descendants of the couple in 2022. The land was seized by the majority white city in 1924 following a racist pressure campaign. On Tuesday, the chair of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors announced the family had opted to sell the property back to Los Angeles County. Some have said they wish the family had hung on to the valuable land a while longer, while others have said they think the county offered a lowball figure. Yeah, I believe so too. Because if you know this area, here's a couple right here. But if you know the area over there, this is Bruce's Beach. It's a whole big it's a mound. They got a little basketball court on there. But nonetheless, this is two of the family members. This is the collective family that's left. You might she managed to get in there. She gonna get her little change. Imagine that. You know, beachfront, the whole nine. I mean, the homes over there alone is probably in the millions just because of the real estate value and it's beachfront property. So the land itself, I'm pretty sure is probably lowballed at 20 million. But hey, this family ain't never seen that type of money anyway, man. So they figured 20 million, you can have it back. Plus, they probably thinking, what are we gonna do with it? These people are already occupying the land. How do we get maintain it? Are we getting taxes for this? Whatever they made their decision, they won it, and then they just sold it right back to the so-called white man, which is a whole nother thing. That's just the unfortunate situation that we in, that we still can't have our own, even when you have a moral and a civil victory where you get your land back. You're not in any position to do anything with it but sell it right back to the man who stole it from you at probably a low ball figure. But you see why us recollecting and coming back and keeping our history important and relegated in our lives does? It's because of these type of things. But the white people say, "Oh, forget it. That's a man in the past. Leave it alone." Idiots. So, lastly, Kroger shoppers are calling out shortages. A lot of empty shelves. People are already starting to notice again. The supply chains breaking down. Empty shelves is kicking in. 2023 is going to be a more reflective year, or pretty much the same thing we didn't see in 2022, possibly even worse. Some of the economists are saying, as we're seeing right here, look at this. And I know Kroger's a big store in many spots in the Midwest and in the South and on the East Coast. Kroger is a big distributor, I think, and Costco's, you know. But here you see they're having some issues, right? That now there's a whole nother trending thing going on. That Kroger's got some empty shelves already, and we're just so-called starting this new year. So-called new year, right? So there you have it. There you have it. You see what we're facing. You see what time it is. It's DSTM. Don't shoot the messenger. Episode 174. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh Shai. Again, if you have not already, hit that like button and wipe your feet and show some manners. Do so on your way out. Would you do me that favor? All right. All praises, man. Y'all be well, man. Most High willing, we'll see y'all again on the next go round.